On the 2nd of July, Tesla reported the best second quarter in its entire history. It delivered just over 480,000 cars. It beat every single Wall Street estimate, not by a little, but by more than 74,000 vehicles, one of the widest margins in years. It grew 25% from a year earlier, and it did the one thing the company hadn't done since 2023. It reversed 2 straight years of decline. By every measure in the headline, this was a blowout, a comeback, vindication. And the moment that number hit the wire, Tesla's stock went down. Sit with that for a second, because it's the whole story. A company beats expectations by 74,000 cars, delivers a record quarter, silences 2 years of doubt, and the people with the most money riding on it respond by selling. That single contradiction, a record result and a falling share price on the same afternoon, tells you almost everything about how to actually read a company like Tesla. And it tells you why the number the whole internet celebrated is not the number that matters. Before we get into it, one quick thing. If you like the kind of breakdown that goes past the headline to the number that actually matters, the one nobody puts on a thumbnail, then subscribe. That's the entire point of this channel, and subscribing is what keeps it going. So here's the real question, and it isn't, was it a good quarter? By the headline, obviously it was. The interesting question is why the people closest to the money looked at a record beat and shrugged. Because a delivery number, the count of cars handed to customers, is the easiest, most flattering, and most easily misunderstood figure in the entire car business, and learning to see past it is the difference between understanding Tesla and simply cheering for it. Here's the down payment on what that cheerful headline quietly leaves out. The beat leaned partly on selling down a stockpile Tesla can't sell down twice. The record is still below the company's true record, which was itself a fluke. The entire result now rides on a single model. And the one number that decides whether this quarter was actually a triumph or an expensive illusion wasn't in the report at all. This is Dravexa. Today, what the delivery beat genuinely shows, the 4 things the celebration skips over, why the stock fell anyway, and the number that actually matters, the one Tesla is holding back until the 22nd of July. Let's start by giving the result its due, honestly, because pretending it wasn't impressive would be its own kind of spin. This was a genuine rebound. 480,000 cars, up 25% from the same quarter last year, and up a striking 34% from a weak first quarter. It was Tesla's first year-on-year growth since its deliveries peaked back in 2023. It didn't just edge past analyst estimates, it blew through the most bullish forecasts on Wall Street by more than 60,000 vehicles. In Europe, where Tesla had been bleeding sales as customers reacted against its chief executive's politics, the numbers clearly recovered at least somewhat. And it pulled all of this off with no federal tax credit in the United States propping it up, since that incentive had already expired. So let's be clear and fair. Real demand, real momentum, a real recovery. Credit where it's genuinely due. Now, here's everything the victory lap conveniently drives right past. First, it delivered more cars than it built. Tesla delivered 480,000 vehicles, but it only produced about 452,000. It handed over roughly 28,000 more cars than it made that quarter, and the only way to do that is to empty out inventory, cars already sitting in lots from previous months. That's a perfectly real lever, but it's a one-time one. You can drain the warehouse once. It makes the delivery number look bigger without proving that underlying demand is actually outrunning what the factories can produce. And next quarter, the warehouse is emptier than it was. Second, the record isn't the record. Yes, this was the best second quarter Tesla has ever had, but its all-time quarterly record still stands higher, around 497,000 cars, set in the third quarter of 2025, and that peak was itself a sugar high. American buyers were rushing to claim a $7,500 federal tax credit before it disappeared at the end of September 2025. So the true high watermark was an artificial stampede, pulled forward by an expiring subsidy. And this quarter, impressive as it genuinely is still climbing back up toward a peak that was partly a mirage in the first place. Third, it's essentially a one-car company now. Of those 480,000 deliveries, 468,000 were the Model 3 and the Model Y. That's over 97% of everything Tesla sold. Every other vehicle combined, the Cybertruck that was supposed to be revolutionary, the Semi, the old Model S and Model X, added up to about 12,000 cars, 2.5%. And Tesla has now stopped building the S and the X entirely. The Cybertruck, by any honest accounting, has flopped. So the company once famous for audacious products is now almost entirely one product, the Model Y, which by itself is roughly 80% of what Tesla sells. Its main rival, by contrast, sells dozens of distinct models. Tesla's entire record quarter rests on the refresh of a single car. Fourth, and most important, the number that decides everything wasn't in the report. Here's the one that actually settles whether this was a triumph or a stunt, and it was nowhere to be found. How much did Tesla have to cut prices to move those 480,000 cars? Volume on its own is cheap to buy. Drop the sticker price, throw in cheap financing, and cars will move. The figure that tells you whether this was healthy or desperate is the profit Tesla earned on each one, and Tesla does not report that until its full financial results on the 22nd of July. The delivery report is the trailer, the margin is the movie. And the movie hasn't come out yet. Now you can see exactly why the market refused to celebrate. Picture an electronics store that proudly announces it just sold a record number of televisions over one weekend. Sounds fantastic until you find out how. It slashed every price to the bone, and it cleared out the entire stock room to do it. So did the store actually make money that weekend, or did it just move a lot of boxes at a loss to post a big-sounding number? A smart shopper or a smart investor doesn't cheer the units sold. They wait for the receipt that shows the profit. That is precisely what happened here. Wall Street looked at a record delivery figure that was achieved partly by draining inventory in a year where Tesla has been discounting aggressively, and it made the only rational decision available. It declined to throw a party until it sees the margin. The people with the most at stake aren't reading the delivery number at all. They're standing at the counter waiting for the price tag. A blowout headline and a falling stock isn't a contradiction. It's a sophisticated audience politely refusing to be distracted. This is really a story about which scoreboard you're keeping. The celebratory version keeps score with one number, cars delivered, and whether it beat the guess. On that scoreboard, Tesla won enormously, and that's genuinely true. But there's a second scoreboard, the one that actually governs what the company is worth, how much profit it makes per car, and whether it's successfully becoming something bigger than a car maker at all. On that second scoreboard, the delivery beat is almost a footnote. It's pleasant, but it tells you nothing about whether Tesla made money doing it, and it pulls your attention away from the two businesses that will actually define Tesla's future. And one of those businesses was sitting right there in the same report, being almost completely ignored. Because there was a genuinely significant number in Tesla's report, and it wasn't the cars. Tesla deployed 13.5 gigawatt hours of energy storage, the big batteries that back up homes and power grids, and that figure was up more than 40% from a year earlier. As we've explored before on this channel, Tesla's energy business is quietly one of its most consistent, highest margin growth stories, and this quarter it grew far faster than the cars did. Yet in headline after headline, it's a footnote, because battery storage up 40% simply doesn't make as satisfying a thumbnail as Tesla crushes estimates. I'll be honest about the bright spot. That energy number actually came in slightly below what analysts had been expecting, so it wasn't flawless either. But the larger point holds, and it's a strange one. The part of Tesla with the highest growth rate and the best margins is the part getting the least attention, while everyone argues furiously about a car delivery figure that the market itself just decided not to care about. Before the final takeaway, a small ask. If this has already changed how you'll read the next big headline, Tap the like button. It genuinely helps this reach the people the algorithm otherwise buries. And keep a comment in mind, because I'm going to ask you a real question in a moment. So, let me be straight in both directions, because the hype and the doom are equally lazy. In Tesla's favor, this is a real and meaningful rebound. Growing 25% with no tax credit after 2 years of decline and a genuinely brutal, politically charged start to the year is impressive, and anyone airily waving it away is just doing the mirror image of the hype. The recovery is real. Don't let the skeptics tell you it isn't. Against the hype, it was helped by a one-time inventory drawdown you can't repeat. It's still short of a peak that itself was inflated by an expiring subsidy. It rests almost entirely on one aging, then refreshed car, and the decisive unknown, we still do not know what it cost Tesla in profit to pull it off. So here's the confirmed versus open split. Confirmed, a record second quarter, real year-on-year demand growth, strong energy growth, and a narrowing gap with its Chinese rival whose own electric sales are actually shrinking. Open, the margin, which is the entire ballgame and doesn't arrive until the 22nd of July. Whether this rebound is durable or a single quarter bounce, and whether leaning the whole company on one model is a strength or a fragility waiting to show itself. My honest read, it's a good quarter that the internet is overreading in both directions at once, and the only people behaving rationally are the ones refusing to grade it until they've seen the price tag. Step back, because this is a lesson that reaches far beyond Tesla. The loudest number is almost never the one that matters. Companies, and the people who cover them, instinctively reach for the figure that's easiest to celebrate. Units sold, downloads, signups, deliveries, because it's simple, it's big, and it feels like winning. But the number that actually decides whether something worked is nearly always quieter, later, and harder to fit in a headline. The profit, the cost of getting it, whether the customers stay. Tesla handed the world a thrilling delivery number and quietly kept the margin in its pocket for 3 more weeks, and the smart money simply crossed its arms and waited. That discipline isn't cynicism, it's not refusing to be impressed, it's knowing which scoreboard you're actually reading and noticing when someone is holding up the flattering one to keep your eyes off the real one. A record number of cars left Tesla's factories this quarter. Whether that was a genuine triumph or an expensive way to look like one is a number Tesla hasn't shown you yet, and the most useful thing you can do is notice that you're cheering before the receipt has printed. So here's the question I want your honest answer to. When a company smashes the easy number and the market sells anyway, who do you trust? The headline or the people quietly waiting for the receipt? And the bigger one, if Tesla keeps telling us its real future is energy and artificial intelligence, why are we all still keeping score by counting cars? Tell me below. I read them. And if you want the other half of this story, go watch the one where we pull apart that quietly booming energy business, the 13.5 gigawatt number nobody put on a thumbnail, and ask whether Tesla is really a car company that makes batteries or a battery company that happens to make cars. Because the more you look at quarters like this one, the more you suspect everyone's been counting the wrong thing all along. That's the video to watch next.